Hi, I recently did a video posing a question. I showed some gorgeous footage of mountains, Everest in particular, and I showed that the shadows of shorter mountains would be cast upward and onto Everest, and indeed could cover Everest at dawn and dusk. I was raising the question, how is this possible on a flat earth? How can a sun that is higher than those mountains cast the shadow of the shorter mountain upwards? I had a comment from these two. Initially I thought, brilliant, a couple of flat earth scientists. Now, their comment was rather stupid, as were their further replies, and I issued a debunk video. Now, in that debunk video, I must admit I took the piss out of these two complete and utter gimboys. I have an apology to make. I didn't realise exactly how stupid they are. So let's have a look at some edited clips of their response. I don't think you'll believe how utterly clueless these two actually are.
So anyway, what next then, Peter?
Well, let's get on to some person who thinks he's sensible.
Oh yeah, Mr. Sensible. Yeah, now we played this idiot. Now I've got to call him an idiot. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I think he's an idiot in my own personal opinion.
Well, the idiots are yet to be shown. And by the way, Peter, opinions are like arseholes. We all have them, but sometimes it doesn't really do to air them in public.
I think his views are idiotic.
Yeah, you'd be better off saying
He's
that.
not an idiot, yeah, but his views are idiotic.
Yeah, that's better.
His views are idiotic.
Here's another video shot from 14,500 feet of dawn on Everest. Again, you can see the shadows going downwards. I can think of no explanation of what that shadowing object is that's being cast onto Everest, other than other mountains, which are shorter by definition because Everest is the tallest mountain in the world. Okay, I know Everest isn't the tallest mountain, but it's the highest peak. But let's not bicker and argue about who killed who. The point, I think, is quite straightforward. You have a very tall peak, Everest, covered by a shadow from a shorter peak. And yet the light source, the sun, has to be higher. How can this be? This is taken from nearly the peak of Everest at dawn. You can see the sun. As we pan around, you can see that all the other mountains are in shade. And when we get round to further along the ridge, you can see it's sunlight here at the top of Everest. We will see the very peak of Everest now. As we look up, there it is in sunlight. But even better than that, he carries on panning round. And what can we see? We can see all the other mountains in the distance, all in shade. But better than that, absolute beauty. Can you see that dark pinkish curve? That's called the belt of Venus. It literally is the shadow of the Earth being cast up. Therefore, the sun must be lower than the Earth from your vantage point.
Well, the guy, he's got idiotic views, that's all I can say. I mean, he's probably a nice bloke, I'm sure, he's got feelings. I'm not out to hurt his feelings, but, mate, it's up there that's the problem. Do you know what I mean? It's up there. Yeah. It's up there, because none of what he says in his video proves the Earth's even a ball. He just thinks it.
Yes, I do think the Earth is a ball, but this video is entitled Video Proof the Earth Cannot Be Flat. That's the point.
Yeah, I know.
Seen the observation? This is so common throughout all of science regarding the natural world.
Oh, the sun's coming up over the curve. Anyway, let's dissect this video.
Yeah, let's dissect the video. Now, first thing, I suppose it's I don't even think this is a reasonable argument. I don't think any of this is even evidence that the Earth is a globe. I mean, not only does he talk rubbish, but you can see the sunlight top of Mount Everest. Now, all we've basically got everywhere else is in shadow.
Yeah.
Okay, shade, it's dark. Okay, now Mount Everest is among the Himalayas, is in the Himalayan mountain range, and there are other mountains in that range that are nearly as tall as Mount Everest. They're not exactly the same height. Obviously, Mount Everest is tallest, but there are mountains that are very tall. You would agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree.
There are other mountains, okay? But we've got a little diagram here, okay, just to explain how it's possible that you can see the sun, or the sun's light can be parallel to the Earth's surface late on when the sun is on the horizon. So we're on the Earth level plane, okay. Now you're this little black blob here that's on the right, okay. Now we've put the sun in 3 positions because the sun is moving, okay. Because this is the way we interpret the natural world, okay. It's level, okay, level plane, and the sun moves over the Earth. Oh, the sun moves over the Earth. Now when the sun's above you, okay, you're looking up like that. Yeah, you're looking straight up like that because you know that, and you know the sun's above you. Santa Maria! Now, so let's say the sun's moved, I don't know, a few thousand miles away from you. So obviously, the angle of the sun's light that's going to strike you is going to be, it will cast a shadow. So it would be something like 45-degree angle, maybe.
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly. The light, that the sun's light will strike you to the Earth, okay? 45-degree angle. But as the sun moves further away, that angle will slowly become more acute and it will get smaller and smaller, won't it?
And exactly how far away will the sun have to travel, and how small will the angle have to be before it gets negative so that the sun can shine upwards?
Yeah,
It will
from
reduce.
you anyway, from you.
Yeah, the angle will reduce in size. But as the sun moves even further away from you, you're basically looking at the sun straight.
Straight ahead, yeah.
And you've even got a longer shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah, a longer shadow.
Yeah.
Now,
It's
imagine
amazing,
if the sun is on the horizon, and now the sun must be many thousands of miles away from you, from the observer.
Yeah.
Many thousands of miles away. So is it not possible, really, that if you continue the lines of the
Well, in this diagram.
in this diagram, if you extrapolate the sun's motion, the
Extrapolate.
position
Yeah.
across even further, the line of the sun's light that strikes you the angle to the ground will get lower and lower and lower. And it will get to a point where it's even parallel.
Actually, Peter and Pete, on a flat Earth, the angle to the sun would never quite reach zero, so the rays of light could never quite be parallel to that flat surface. But even if we gave you that, that would mean the shadow of a 25,000 foot mountain would be cast 25,000 foot tall against Everest, not over 29,000.
Okay, because remember the sun radiates light out
In all directions.
in all directions that we can see, obviously, you know. So obviously when the sun's at the horizon, it's going to radiate light upwards.
Yeah.
So it can even hit the bottoms of clouds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. You know, I mean, come
Makes
on.
sense to me.
Well, let's see if you really do understand what I've been saying, Peter and Pete. Try to steelman my position.
He would actually think that, well, how is it possible the sun is so many thousands of miles high? How can it shine light across the Earth if the sun's always that high above the
But how
Earth?
do you know the sun's thousands of miles high?
No, but he
I
would
don't
see.
know how
Yeah,
high
but
it is.
okay. If the sun maintains the same altitude over the Earth, how is it possible it can shine light across and even light up the bottom of clouds
Well,
if it's always above the clouds?
Well, actually, that's not too bad. But let's see if you've really understood it.
I look at this, the whole Mount Everest light on the summit, sun's light on the summit, and I'm thinking, but how does this even prove, or even how does this evidence the Earth being a globe.
It doesn't.
I can understand this quite simply, just with the Earth being a level plane.
It is at this point that these two cretinous chuff nuggets pull out a diagram, rather a neat diagram, that they believe evidences their position, while totally failing to understand that it exactly demonstrates why they're wrong.
Oh yeah, builders. Now again, if you can't, this is another diagram I put together. But if you can't understand this diagram, you must be brain dead, and I would have to agree with this.
Oh dearie dear.
So what you've got here is you've got the sun setting,
All rising.
and you've got basically your level sea level.
Yeah.
Okay, and in the corner here you've got your land mass, and you've got two skyscrapers here, two buildings, and you've got these areas. How do we zoom in on it? Oh, there. Yeah, sorry. So let's just zoom in here. So there's the sun. You've got direction of light from the sun, which is the arrow, and obviously it hits. It's going to strike the first building, okay, and the sun's light is going to strike the first building, and that's going to cast a shadow on the second building.
Yeah.
But because the second building is taller, that part that's taller than the first building, the shorter building, will be lit by the sun.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need. We're just. I can't understand how these people can't understand this.
Did IQs just drop sharply while I was away?
Look, you festering pair of toenail clippings, let's use your own diagram. Here we've got the sun close to or on the horizon. The angle of incidence to your flat Earth is all but zero. Your rays of light are travelling across the flat Earth, pretty much parallel to the surface. It hits the first and lower building, casting a shadow onto the second and taller building. That shadow is not any taller than the short building. That is the whole bloody point. That is what you guys cannot understand and cannot explain. Why and how can the shadow of the shorter building be cast higher against the taller building? How can the shorter mountain shadow be covering Everest? Give me strength.
I mean, think about it. This guy, Mr. Sensible, he goes up to Everest or some part of there, takes his own video footage of the the sunrise at Everest.
He found that video.
Oh, did he? I thought he said it was his video.
No, he found it.
He said it was his own video. This one here. Amazing Everest Base Camp. Yeah. And it says beautiful sunrise. They always put shot from my phone.
Oh right, okay.
So I would imagine he was there. He's been there.
See, this guy's got more money than sense.
You just don't get it, do you? You don't.
Look, I'm not sure that you two guys should even be commenting on complicated things like shadows when you can't even grasp the concept of taking a video that says shot with my iPhone, putting it on my channel, and therefore you're assuming that I was at Everest. You have just shown that video that says shot from my iPhone. Does that mean you have been to Everest? I mean, how do you guys even deal with the complication of getting out of bed in the morning?
Their ideas about the natural world are true.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's what makes it even worse.
But anyway, Mr. Sensible, after all this conversing, Mr. Sensible has done a follow-up video showing why you're wrong.
Oh right, okay.
Why we're wrong.
Oh, he's done a video about you and me, saying it's a debunk.
There's a
video.
debunk,
but we've not watched it.
We haven't watched it.
We haven't watched it. 'Cause
Not interested in
we
it.
care less for it.
Brilliant. You have just ably demonstrated flat earth science. Don't look at any of the evidence against you, which is a shame because you could have seen this diagram. So you guys failed to even understand the question, let alone answer it. How can the shadow of a shorter mountain be cast over and above that of a taller mountain? Here's the answer. Parallel rays of light coming from the sun, with the sun low and just over the horizon, cause the shadow of the lower mountain on the right to be cast upward and over the mountain on the left. Following my video, I understand that Peter and Pete actually went outside where it was sunny so they could do an experiment with a shadow. This was the result.
I mean, these
Yeah.
people
are crazy.
My apologies for any and all facepalm injuries. I never could have even considered that they could have been as stupid as they really are. Until next time, stay sensible.